What's up guys, this is Scoopman 5000 and today we are back for another action figure review. Today we're taking a look at the Super7 Ultimates Raphael. Now Ninja Turtles for me, kind of a thing that I'm into tangentially because of DC. I love the comic TMNT vs. Batman, love the movie, and also them in Injustice. And I do like the first Ninja Turtles movie, and then I've seen the newer ones as well. But other than that, I'm not like the biggest fan. I don't have too much Ninja Turtles product. But I did see these Super7 figures and they did catch my eye, and I was able to find a pretty good deal on Raphael. I missed his pre-order window, but now I've gone ahead and pre-ordered the rest of them. And you can see Super7 Ultimate comes in the nice shipper box. And now let's get it out of that shipper and look at the packaging. And here's the Raphael box out of that shipper, and you can see that this is a multi-layered experience here. So we start out with the green slip cover. We got that New York City manhole kind of varnished onto there with the Raphael logo in the middle. Got his name down on the bottom, Ultimates up top, and on the back you get the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. But you can go ahead and lift up your slip cover to reveal the nice window box for Raphael. And here you can see this gigantic window, everything you're getting in the box, all the Ultimate accessories, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. Same text down there, but really a beautiful presentation here. A lot like the Masters of the Universe classics that Super7 was known for. And if you go turn around, you see this awesome brick texture, some graffiti going on. Great work on here. And then on the back, you got the read-up. Raphael is a hothead and one of the most opinionated, impulsive, and restless Ninja Turtle. Raphael loves nothing more than to test himself in battle and trains for sheer enjoyment. He's usually the one to leap into action, and it's nearly impossible to get him to back down. And you see even more detail here. So this one's gonna feel a little bit dirty taken out of the box, but look at all this fun stuff in here. You gotta take them out. But let's get to it and let's pop open Raphael. And here we have all of Raph's accessories out of the packaging, and this being an ultimate figure, you're going to have a whole bunch of accessories. And we'll start out on the left here. We'll go with this weapon sprue. This is very vintage toy inspired. It's in that orangey brown kind of plastic that the original weapons were in. But what you have here essentially is all the weapons that are included in the box, but done cast in this orange plastic. So if you want to stay truly faithful to that original toy design, you're going to go with these. But for my money, this is a cool bonus, but I won't be removing the weapons, and I probably won't be using these for Raphael. But for those weapons, we do have the classic Ninja Turtle toy weapons here. So this one's kind of that sword with the hooked blade, like a scabbard kind of. And you see the style they went for with these painted weapons is kind of this metallic silver, and then the brown wraps around. And that looks very good. It looks very premium. It's a little bit of bendy plastic. I do wish the plastic wasn't so bendy. I guess, you don't want to break it if it's a thin piece, but it does kind of end up making the things a bit warped. We also do get this kind of triangle dagger with the handle here, classic Ninja Turtle weapon. And along with that, we get a similar weapon with the 3 blades. And along with that, we do get 2 pieces of the Turtles technology. This is kind of like the turtle phone. Of course, you can't have a Ninja Turtle without a slice of pizza. So here we got a nice gooey pepperoni slice. And I'm sure as this line continues, we're going to be able to build a whole pizza pie. Finally, we do get 2 throwing stars, and throwing stars are those weapons that you gotta include them, but nobody's really using them. And then we get 2 metallic silver katanas. So what's interesting is that on the figure, he comes with these, which are a pearly silver, and they're packed in with his sheaths. But then you get options because you do have the more metallic size. This one got really warped in the package, but I probably will end up going with these because I do prefer the metallic look. For the interchangeable hands, he is coming with some splayed out hands, as well as different gripping hands to hold certain weapons. And then finally, we get this alternate head sculpt, and we'll look at the main one on the figure in just a second. But this one is kind of Super7's redesign of the figure, and this is actually definitely going to be my preferred display for the figure. Because you take the original, that's very accurate to the original toy, but this one looks a lot more modern. Kind of reminds me of the Batman vs. Ninja Turtle comic, and that's kind of exactly what I'm going for with this collection. So definitely do like this head sculpt a lot. You see the teeth and the eyes are painted in white, obviously. This bandana in the back here I wish was articulated, because I don't always like when figures have kind of directional wind going out with their hair and their bandanas and stuff. I would prefer that to be kind of dropped down, but I guess it creates kind of a dynamic look, and it also keeps in line with the original head sculpt. And you can definitely tell there's a bit of a light wash over just to get those details out, and overall it is a great head sculpt. And finally, here is Raphael out of the packaging, and really a great job by Super7 in capturing the original toy's likeness, but updating the proportions and updating the articulation to something of a modern action figure. So of course we looked at all those accessories, all your options for posing the figure, And now let's go ahead and look at the figure itself. So as we always do, we'll start up at the head sculpt, and you see that this head sculpt is definitely based on that original toy. It's almost like a one-for-one recreation. So again, you kind of have options. If you want a very vintage styled figure, you're going to pair this head sculpt with these weapons. But then if you want a more modern look, you bring in the modern looking head sculpt, and then you use the painted weapons. So I could even see some real psychos out there getting two of these guys, because you really do get enough options here. I think there's just enough meat on the bone to justify getting two, because there is such a big difference with these two head sculpts. But what you have here is a figure that looks very simple on the surface, but you go ahead, you pull up the body here, you see that the shell, both the front and the back, have some really immaculate texture to them. And then even go into the arms, you got some shading going on here, you got some veins on the arms. Even the knee pads and the elbow pads, they have a great texture to them. So I really do like the direction that this is going in this line. I'm not going to get the side characters. I might get Shredder, obviously, to complete that. Maybe Splinter, but for me, it's going to be the main four turtles. That's going to be my focus with these guys. And you know, the NECA turtles can be kind of frustrating to collect. So I think that these are good figures and they're worth the wait. But yeah, we'll go back down. Even if you look at the neck here and the shoulder, you get some kind of texture going on for his turtle skin. And like I said, the texture is really the name of the game with this figure. That really separates it from that vintage toy, along with obviously the articulation. Go ahead and remove these sides. You can get a better look at his belt, which is also very good detailed. You got the black belt hanging off the bottom there, the Raphael R on there. So the sheaths look like fabric, and then the belt looks like really good leather as well. And that wraps all the way around to his shell. And then this is the back pocket where you're going to stick in that triangular blade. And weapon storage is something that was on the retro figures and also is greatly appreciated on a modern figure. I do love weapon storage. But you see very good kind of wash going on here, some silver paint. You can get a better look at the back of the shell. You even got some kind of battle damage, it looks like, on the shell, which is very cool. And yeah, overall, very good torso. On the arms, like I mentioned, they're kind of very human-looking arms. You got veins. You got all the muscles there. You got some shading going on. It's all over the body, but the arms especially, you could tell. And then even at the hands, you got the wrinkles, you got the palms, and you have a lighter green painted on as the nails. And then down at the legs, you do get some great details going on, kind of the same thing as the arms. All sorts of musculature that kind of was there on the retro toy, but is definitely amped up in the sculpt here. And then the feet as well are a very good sculpt. And what's cool about these guys is that they share some DNA with Mattel and kind of the He-Man figures, and then that leads into the DC figures. So, you know, if you have those characters and you want to put them all together in the same scale and with the same kind of articulation and the overall shape of the figure, it does share a lot of the DNA with both Master of the Universe Classics and then the DC Universe Classics. Now we'll go over articulation for Raphael. So the neck is interesting. I went ahead and removed the head. There's a ball joint at the bottom, there's a bar, and then a ball joint at the top. So what you get with that is a very good range of motion and a tilt going on there. He looks up better than most figures. He looks down decently enough, but obviously the tilt is going to be a big advantage of that type of joint. The torso is interesting because he does have this big hard shell piece. Doesn't seem necessarily removable. So what you end up with is a limited torso, but a ball joint right above the hips. So the hips are kind of doing all the work when you go to pose it. At the shoulder, there is a swivel, and then there's a hinge, there's a bicep cut, single jointed elbow, and then the hands are going to rotate, and they're going to also hinge up and down because they are weapon holding hands. I can't tell if the upper thigh is like drop down or not. You see that it has some big ball joints there, but it kind of rocks around. Like I said, it does all the work when you're trying to pose with the torso, but the thigh does rotate, and you do get pretty much a full split on the figure, which is impressive. And there you can see more of that joint. You have what looks like a single jointed knee. It's a bit blocked by this knee pad, and it does look a little awkward, but you're getting about 90 degrees. And then the foot's going to go back all the way. It's going to go forward, and you do have an ankle rocker. And that's your look at the Raphael. And now let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. So I wanted to start out here with some Mattel DC figures. So what's interesting here is that you have a 6-inch line with these Batman figures, and this Super 7 line is being touted as a 7-inch scale line. Batman is taller than 6-inch, and then for the Super 7 Turtles, I guess they went with a more comic book size because they are very small. So it is kind of weird that this is a 7-inch scale line, but you do end up with a character that is basically exactly 6 inches tall. But I guess that does bring in the future when you do get some smaller characters like Splinter, and then maybe Shredder will be a larger character, so you'll have some variety in the scale. But when you bring in some 6-inch scale Hasbro figures, like the G.I. Joe Classified Duke and the Marvel Legends movie cable, you can see that he stands shoulder to shoulder more with these guys, and if anything, he's actually a bit shorter. And then for a turtle comparison, this is where I'm going to get flamed, because this is all I got. I got a set of the 2012 Playmate Turtles and the DC Collectibles Batman turtle. And yeah, those NECA turtles, very hard to come by, and I don't know if I could justify buying them unless I find them at a good price. I actually did order the Casey and Raphael 2-pack on the NECA store, and if those movie turtle 2-packs end up on the NECA store, I am going to order those. But for now, this is all I got in terms of Raphael. So obviously these are like a 4-inch kids scale line. And the DC collectibles, I think, is 6-inch or 7-inch scale. But again, I think in that movie they were a bit shorter than Batman and his characters. And overall, that is going to do it for your look at the Super 7 Raphael Ultimate figure. Overall, a very good figure. The articulation is kind of a bit outdated. It's a bit Mattel, 10 years ago. But it is a very good figure, very good sculpt. And it's probably one of the better Ninja Turtles figures that have ever come out. And it seems like every week I'm just finding new rabbit holes to get into, and now it seems like Ninja Turtles is the one that I kind of got to flesh out the collection a bit more. But this guy is the real deal. This is a real deal Ninja Turtle figure. If you are into them, definitely pick these guys up. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it off with some photos I took of the figure as usual, and I will see you guys in the next action figure review.